Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Ritzik, and I just wanted to say welcome to the English 162 W1 late start class for spring 2015. I have this class in a variety of different ways. I have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 15-minute class. I have a Tuesday, Thursday 75-minute class. And then I have a Wednesday afternoon 3-hour class. And then, like I said, I have this late start class. And then I have a couple of online classes that last 15 weeks. I've also had this class in 5.5 weeks in the summertime, and the class would last from 6 o'clock until 9:40. So it was quite a bit to do in a week. At Community College of Allegheny County and some other local colleges, they have what's called winter session or intersession, and it's a class that lasts for 45 hours in a week, which is quite a lot. But anyhow, what I wanted to mention to you is to just introduce myself and give you a bit of an overview of the class, and then tell you how we're going to be proceeding. Make sure, though, in the assignment section, make sure to read the section on accessing Office 365. So, as a student at WCCC, you have access to the Microsoft Office suite, which includes PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and Word and some of the others. So, I strongly encourage you to access that and use it if you have not already done that. But there's a handout in assignments in the assignment section that explains how to access and use Office 365. So that's really important. Second point that I do want you to do is create a signature block, and there's some information on that in assignments as well, because I just need to have see your name and your major and your contact information and that sort of thing. It helps me because, for example, I've had students in this class who are in forensic science, and so maybe something that they send to me or maybe something that I've read in the week, I will comment and say, maybe you want to look at this article, or, if you're considering an internship, think of this. And so that proves to be helpful. When you send me assignments, make sure to put in the subject line, your first and last name, and then put the class, so your English 162, W1, and then put whatever you're sending to me. So if it's assignment 1, assignment 2, or if it's a combination of items, put as much as you can in there so I know what you're sending. When you send me an email, write, "Dear Mr. Ritzik, comma," in the first sentence, tell me a little bit about what you're sending. So, for example, when you send the evaluation of customer service that we do later in the semester, I'm sending the evaluation of customer service due for Friday, whatever the day is. In this assignment, I've tried to do X, Y, and Z, or I focused on these elements, and so on. In the last sentence, ask me to respond within 1 week. So you'll do that, and then when you go to the bottom, it'll be sincerely, comma, or thank you, comma, and then your first and last name. Believe me, that is very, very advantageous that you follow good email etiquette and protocol, because it's useful to me. And in the same way, too, if you have something that's pretty urgent, in your email program, there's a red exclamation point that you can hit so that I see that it's something that I really need to take a look at right away. So, that proves to be useful. A colleague of mine here at WCCC had a pretty serious medical issue recently, and he contacted his doctor about the situation, and in essence, the toes on his right foot were turning blue, and he was also having this reddish hue sort of running down his leg. So he wrote to his doctor and said, I really need to get an appointment urgently. He's a UPMC doctor, and so I guess they have this email system. But he wrote and described, in essence, what was happening to him and why he was concerned. So he got an appointment for the very next day. As a result, though, of that email, this doctor made an appointment with my friend for a surgeon. And so he was able to get in to see the surgeon by that Friday, which is pretty difficult to do because some of them take a few weeks' notice to get in. But the specificness of the email helped. And so, as we go through the class here, if you have questions or issues, try to be as specific as you can. Don't say, I don't understand the summary assignment that we're doing. Try to ask me a more specific, accurate question because that's helpful. And if you want to ask me a series of questions in an email, bullet the points, and then I can go boom, 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 and then I can respond pretty easily. So I want to be able to work well with you, but in order for us to communicate effectively, the more specific and accurate you are, the better it is for both of us. I have a student that was in this class named Carolyn Kegler, and she's a Dell rep, and her office is located up in Johnstown in Cambria County. So she does southwestern Pennsylvania, but she does parts of Ohio and West Virginia. She's like a corporate rep. So if a server goes down or there's some networking issue and it involves Dell products, she has to go and deal with it. So she has a pretty wide territory. But coincidentally, she was in Mount Pleasant, which is where I live, and she was doing some service there. It was actually at a local funeral home, and so there was an issue that I had for my computer, and I couldn't get it resolved. And I guess Dell Corporate dispatched her to my house. So it was really pretty cool because I got a chance to talk to her and see what she was doing. But she uses like Skype, and she used other tools to kind of diagnose the problem and so on. But lots of her work deal with being at a distance, And I had a student in this class who's a power grid engineer for First Energy, and so what he does is goes around and deals with power grid issues, and he deals with them like in Garrett County, Maryland, and places like that. But he really, his office is away from the office. I mean, he's on the road. A pickup truck is his office. And the reason why I mention that is some people say, well, these online classes are not the same as being in class, and that's true. There's no doubt about that. You have to become a better reader. You have to be able to follow directions. You have to figure out instructions. You have to email, call, or whatever to get your questions answered. And you have to be able to plan ahead a little bit. But the nature of work today is such where you're not in an office 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year. A lot of jobs are out on the road, and so if you have those skills, it's so much better. The one student I have that's like a wound care specialist, so she goes to see people who were injured in industrial accidents, motorcycle accidents, veterans of the military that were injured overseas, and so on. And she has to look at their wounds, and if they're not healing, she has to take pictures, use Skype. She uses other kinds of tools, and so she has to communicate with the doctors. Do they need to prescribe another medication? Do they need to be admitted? So it's, like I said, more and more of that is like that. When you email me, again, my email address is hrickim@wccc.edu. I'm not at mywccc.edu. You can also email me through tools in Blackboard, and you can pick me out of the email. There's like an email list of individual users, and so you can do it that way. But I will read your work when we start doing assignments, then I'll just email it back to you with my corrections. So just wanted to let you know that that's how we'll do the assignments. The book for this class, and you only really do have one book. If you buy a used copy or buy a new copy like Amazon or Barnes & Noble and whatnot, this is what it looks like. If you buy it here at WCCC, this is what yours looks like. The only reason why I go with this book is it costs less. And of course, it doesn't have the side binding, but you just need to find a binder to put it in, and it works out pretty well. The one issue that I've had this semester with the publisher is they've changed the way this MyTech CommLab works, and I haven't been able to get it to work. So unless we get that to work better, we're not going to use that card that comes with your book if you bought a new copy. But believe me, you will get maximum use out of this textbook. In particular, the most vital chapters in this book are Chapter 1, and then, of course, Chapters 4 and 5. Those are really the nuts and bolts chapters. And then, of course, you will see Chapter 6 on correspondence, Chapter 8 on written instructions, and then like Chapters 10 and 11 more so on types of reports, you will find that to be pretty useful. But when you're done with this class, if you can, keep the book because it's a really, really good book. I also, today I sent you a sample booklet of assignments. It's like whatever address you gave WCCC, I sent that to you. And so, you will be getting that in the U.S. mail. Wherever, like I said, whatever address you gave to them, you will be getting that. Now, what I wanted to tell you as well is if you have a handbook from College Writing, which was called the Brief Penguin Handbook, I would strongly encourage you to use that one and keep it available for you. If you don't have a handbook, of course, one place to look is the online writing lab at Purdue University, and the URL for that is owl.english.purdue.edu. It's really, really quite good. This is an older edition of the Brief Penguin Handbook. And, probably if you have the book, you have a newer one. But I just wanted to also show you, we used to use this handbook for this class, but I kind of got away from it. It's the Prentice Hall Reference Guide for Professional Writing. And really the tabs are pretty similar as in the other, like punctuation, mechanics, spelling, and so on. What's a little bit different about this book is they have public and professional writing with memos, letters, and resumes, and so on. But you can buy this book really, really cheaply on Amazon.com or a place like that, and really worth considering. If you ever work in an office or ever a manager, this is an old one, a handbook for office workers, but people in our office administration program here at WCCC use that. And this is like a book that I had to buy for a class that I took a couple years ago, the Associated Press Style Book 2009. So like if for newspapers they have to follow certain style guidelines as far as like what words you capitalize, like third world, which words you hyphenate, how you introduce certain parts of a document, and so on. If you work for a bigger company, like I had a student named Jeff who works for Caterpillar Heavy Equipment, and he's a field technician / manager. And so when he goes out on jobs and does repairs, if like a bulldozer blade fails or some piece of equipment malfunctions, they have to document that, and they follow the standard template that they do. So bigger companies have certain things that they have you do to follow. If you work for a smaller company and they don't have style guidelines, then you may have to make up some basic ones. Pretty much I'll just refer to this, in Chapter 5 of this book, it focuses on style and some other points as far as that goes. It focuses on document design, and if you take a look at it, you will definitely see what I mean. But they have like consistent design, but they also have here actually on page 121 they talk about style sheets and style guidelines, and they mention as far as like headings, levels, bolded lists, body paragraphs, and headings, subheadings, in-text emphasis, common terms you're going to use, and so on. But this chapter, does cover it pretty well. And something else that I wanted to kind of mention to you today, just that I think is a really, really good point. This class really makes you focus a lot more on sentence level writing and then on document design. Page 244 and 245 in this book is a good example. This one right here is just in paragraph format, and this one here is revised to use bullets and in-text emphasis and so on making travel arrangements so much better. What you also will notice in this book, particularly we went over chapter 4 in the textbook today, but this book follows the ABC format. It stresses that, the abstract, body, conclusion, and it also talks about, that's like the overview, the body, and the conclusion. And in chapter 4 too, they also talk about the top-down format, which is a redundant, repetitive approach to technical communication where you state the main findings and conclusions, and then you elaborate. You state them briefly in the introduction, and then you elaborate on them you know, in the body. So that's in essence, and then you review them in the conclusion. So you'll see that all through this book. A couple last things. I don't want to go on much further. You know, so when you send me assignments, I talked about how to send an email. You can attach the assignments and just email them to me, and then I'll read them and comment on them. A lot of times I'll use verbal feedback. From other times I'll use typed comments. If you don't understand my comments, please ask and I will explain further. Some days I'm very, very busy and I give the best that I can. Other days I can give you more feedback, but believe me, by the time you're through with this class, you will understand what I look for and what I definitely like to see. I like to see documents that are easy to read. I don't like vague terms like things a lot. I want you to be more specific. I prefer sentences under 15 words. And like I said, try to be a little bit more specific in your writing. When you do the discussion board is under Tools, and you can go to Tools, and then you can click on the discussion board. Then you click Create a Thread, and most of you have done that anyhow. But make sure to type your discussion board postings first in Microsoft Word, edit them, and then you can copy and paste and put them right into the you know, the discussion board. Check your grades weekly and make sure if I'm not correct about something that you let me know, and I will definitely take care of it. If you have something that you really want to talk to me about, you can text me. My cell phone number is on the syllabus, or if you want to, you can call me. I have no problem with that, and I will definitely get back with you. And if you need anything after you're done with this class, like a recommendation, a reference, or whatever, feel free to ask. If you want to get linked together with me through LinkedIn, I encourage you to log in and create a profile. But the good thing about being linked together is if you ever want me to write a recommendation for you right on LinkedIn, you know, I can definitely do that. So that's about it, and good luck, and welcome to the class.